Hello again, everyone. Greetings from Dubai here at COP28, taking place at the Expo Center in Dubai, and will be going on it started yesterday, and it will be going on until the 12th of December. So, on just the second day of COP, I just wanted to bring you some highlights, talk about a few of the things that were discussed today, and share my opinion. Whether they matter or not is irrelevant, but I have a platform and I'm going to share it. I hope that you find it informative, and maybe you can even leave a comment. But be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, right? If you're listening now, that means you're on it. So be sure to hit the subscribe button, and you can leave a comment uh, in the chat. So it's been fun for the past 2 days. I think I'm just finally getting adjusted to the time difference. And I haven't been able to do any recreational activities as yet because most days I'm just from one meeting to the other, uh, trying to get as much information as I can and to learn as much as I can so that I can share the information with you. And I can also use it to see how I can help to advance uh, the climate consciousness and the renewable energy sector in the Caribbean, right? So, like I said before, uh, this wouldn't follow any specific format. It's just meant to be very casual, very relaxed. There's no pressure whatsoever. Uh, I'm not trying to make money off of YouTube or anything like that. I'm just doing something that I feel like that I want to do, you know? And so where I'm going to start now is just talk about some of the things that were shared today. So in just now the second day of COP, there has been a lot of announcements. I've never heard so many announcements of funds that are being committed to fight this global climate change. Yesterday I touched on it a little bit, and today there were more announcements, but I want to focus specifically on how the Caribbean would be affected or impacted uh, by any of these commitment of funds that everyone is talking about. So to start today, I think I have my notes here. The UAE announced a landmark $30 billion, right? Uh, climate focused investment vehicle. It's called Altera, and it's the largest ever with the aim of mobilizing at least 250 billion US dollars of institutional and private capital into climate action by 2030. Right? The $5 billion of Altera will form the transformation fund dedicated to incentivize investments to flow to developing countries to address critical climate investment needs in the global south, right? But what I want to focus on today, update, is what's happening in the Caribbean, right? Because that's where we live, and that's what, you know, quite frankly, we care about. So I attended a session at the CARICOM Pavilion today, right? And the session itself was entitled a high-level announcement of GCF support to the Blue Co Caribbean Umbrella Coordination Program. Now, I'm going to break that down. But before I do, there were several panelists. I don't have all of the names written down. You know, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. But from what I can recall, we had the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, Honorable Philip Davis, I think is his name, and we also have Prime Minister Skerritt from Dominica, the Executive Director of 5Cs, and I believe the Executive Director of the Green Climate Fund, and I'll mention their name as we go on, right? So this was a high level announcement of the Green Climate Fund. So uh, before we go any further, for those of you who don't know, and I know who's listening, so some of the people who are listening don't know what the Green Climate Fund is. So the Green Climate Fund is basically a financial mechanism within the framework of the UNFCCC. That's the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So the Green Climate Fund is a financial mechanism within the framework of the UNFCCC, and it's designed to assist developing countries in adaptation and mitigation practices to counter climate change. Now, the Caribbean Development Bank, which we're all familiar with, also plays a significant role in supporting these climate-related initiatives in the Caribbean, right? So now you know what the Green Climate Fund is, and it's facilitated through the Caribbean Development Bank, right? Now, before we go any further, one of the things that really struck me, remember I'm just talking about the highlights. I can't possibly give all of the details of the session today. But one of the things that really struck me uh, was with the Prime Minister of Dominica, right? He, and I like to echo the sentiment that he shared regarding our situation as Caribbean islands in the face of climate change. Now, he rightfully pointed out that while our contributions to climate change are minimal in the Caribbean islands, we disproportionately suffer its consequences. I'm not quoting him directly, but I'm paraphrasing, putting it in my own words. What he said, we disproportionately suffer the consequences of climate change. And I mean, you don't have to be that old to have experienced a hurricane in the Caribbean. Even for the past couple of years, we realized that hurricanes have been getting more severe. We've been getting more Category 5 hurricanes than I could ever think about, having experienced some myself. Uh, but we do not emit as much greenhouse gases as the larger developed nations, but we suffer the most. So his words really underscore the stark reality that, as I said, despite our limited role in causing climate change, we bear its heaviest burdens, right? Uh, Moreover, there's some noise coming in my background now, so I'm just gonna uh, let him pass with the people. How you doing, man? All right, good. Very pretty cool. So, moreover, the Prime Minister also highlighted an issue that resonates with many of us in the Caribbean who are not in the room having those conversations. That the perception of these global climate discussions, like COP, this is my first one, so I don't know, they're increasingly becoming forums for dialogues rather than a catalyst for tangible action, right? And this sentiment emphasizes the critical need for these kind of platforms to really transition from just mere conversation to concrete measures and substantial commitments in combating climate change. We hear about all these commitments, all these funds, all these money that are going to be made available. But for people like me and for companies like Green Solutions, when we look around, we're asking ourselves, well, where are the funds that they commit? And for those who are actually getting the funds to do these projects in the Caribbean, what happened to our local people, right? Because our local people suffer disproportionately when it comes to these contracts. I mean, I'm just being quite frank here, right? If you agree with me, you could drop a line or something like that in the chat. But anyway, so what was this announcement? So the announcement was that the Green Climate Fund through the Caribbean Development Bank, right? Uh, what's her name? Executive Director Mafalda Duarte. I hope I pronouncing her name correctly. She announced a $1.2 million in financing to support the development of the Blue Co program for consideration by the GCF board. Now, I'm looking closely at that announcement, right? They said it was approved, uh, but it's going to be put to the GCF board for final approval. So in my mind, it's not really available yet, right? But I think what they intend to do is that under the Green Climate Fund's project preparation facility, they said this will be crucial in conducting studies and consultations necessary to ensure that the program is founded in science, good practice, and the highest market standards. And it will also ensure that countries can continue co-designing the program at every step, and the Caribbean Development Bank will spearhead this program in the Caribbean region, right? Now, what does all of this like really mean, right? And I took some notes because I wanted to make sure that I inform the audience accurately, right? Uh, as I said, it will be managed by the CDB. Now, once approved, remember it hasn't been put to the board yet. So once approved, it will facilitate the development and the updating of blue economy frameworks at the national and regional level, right? The establishment of a regional mechanism to support more coordinated response to the Caribbean's blue economy needs, and directly finance the implementation of innovative projects that will help scale up the private sector investment in a resilient and sustainable blue economy. And I quote, right? They said that more than 56,000 people across the region will benefit directly from the initiative, and an additional 600,000 will be indirect beneficiaries, right? Now, here's some other numbers for you. At the launch, the president of CDB, Mr. Leon, right? He said that the umbrella coordination was timely, while the Caribbean Sea has an estimated economic value of $407 billion per year and supports multiple marine ecosystems such as coral reefs, mangroves, seagrasses, with more than 700 species under threat. Now, there are a lot of quotes from a lot of different people on this, applauding the Green Climate Fund for its efforts in helping to support uh, and create a sustainable future for the Caribbean. Everybody is pleased with it. I think everybody is happy because of the funding, but it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning to echo the sentiments of the Dominican Prime Minister, right? Is this just all talk, or will there be action behind this? The intentions are good, and I really hope that for our Caribbean people, that these things are actually put into action, and our local communities, especially, can benefit from this infusion of cash into fighting and uh, mitigating the impacts of climate change, right? So uh, that's the highlight of today's meeting. There were other ministerial high-level meetings. Uh, I spent a lot of the day also at the St. Kitts Nevis Pavilion. So it was kind of cool to just hang out there and talk to my fellow Kittitians and the Visions. Uh, Tomorrow, they're having the launch or the opening of the St. Kitts Pavilion tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Uh, local time. Uh, so, you know, I expect that to be, one of the highlights for tomorrow. And I will probably be reporting on those activities. Uh, I might take some time tomorrow to go to the mall. I heard that the Dubai Mall closes at 12 a.m., right? So after the the launch, I'll probably go to the mall and see what's going on. I'll probably not buy anything though, only unless they have an Apple store in the mall, because my iPhone 13 Pro Max needs updating. I think I need the iPhone 14 in my life, because it seems like it's slowing down a little bit. I don't know why, but I just feel like I need to get a new iPhone, right? And I'm still yet to go to the desert and ride one of the camels, take a picture and post it, right? So that's gonna be coming up soon, and I'll be sharing with you my experiences on the camel. Uh, and I actually told people, right? I want to go on a camel and take a picture with my shirt off. Very serious about that. I just think that that would be the highlight of 2023. It's been a rough year. It's been a rough year, So I'm actually doing things that I want to do, right? I don't need permission and all that kind of stuff. I can go on a camel if I want to go on a camel and take my shirt off and take a picture. What's wrong with that? But anyway, I digress. So we come back to the issue of funding for the Caribbean islands. And in one of these episodes, I will also have uh, discussed the whole push towards capacity building in the region. Because I think that that is the lifeblood of our economy. You know, we need to develop our own local people. We need to train our own local people. We need to give our own local people the tools and the resources they need to be successful so that we can actually, you know, take control of our own energy future and our own climate and our own environments. And if there are foreign companies or other people who wants to come into the Caribbean, then they should come and talk to me. I know I'm going to get some feedback about that, but anyway, right? And we can see how we can best facilitate, you know, the the employment and the training and stuff like that of local Caribbean people. I sincerely believe that. I could have been working anywhere that I want to in the United States or anywhere, but I choose to be in the Caribbean because I really believe in that cause. And I really believe that we should invest in our own people. Keep the money in our economy, right? Allow our children to go to nice schools and have nice things and to be able to go on vacation. You know, I was talking to someone today about, uh, I'm not going to say which island, where we had a company, overseas company, come to that island and build this a huge solar plant. No, it's not St. Kitts. I'm not talking about St. Kitts in case you think I'm talking about St. Kitts because I'm not talking about St. Kitts. I'm talking about another island in the Caribbean. And what happened is that when the solar plant stops working, there's no one there, or at the time, there was no one there locally to actually maintain and fix the issue. And by the time that uh, it needed repairing, that company was out of business. And so the solar plant is just left there, really collecting dust, and it's costing the company millions of dollars every year just having it there. It's not doing anything, and the company is reluctant to to do something about it because they felt that they've spent so much money and invested so much money in it already that they don't want to spend any more money to fix it. You know, and that's very disheartening. So I'm hoping that we can really make a big push uh, and get some of this green climate fund money and all these monies that have been committed to the islands to really implement and do some of the things that we need to do for a better future in the Caribbean. So that's all I have for today. Uh, I will be back tomorrow to talk about the highlights. I appreciated the comments from yesterday, and I look forward towards interacting with you more as we go through the next couple of days of COP28. So in the meantime, I'm out.